Think we're there. 3, 2, 1. We are live. Good afternoon. It is just gone noon on Tuesday, December 22nd. It's Christmas, and it's nearly the end of 2020. Welcome, everybody. Hi, guys. What's going on?
Hi, everybody.
There's a few of us on today.
Yeah, quite a group.
Right, before we jump knee deep in, real quick reminder for anybody tuning in and watching. We are taking a little break over the Christmas period. So we are going to be closed from about tomorrow afternoon at 3, all the way through to Monday, January the 4th. So if there is anything you want, David Vega is sitting by his phone, waiting to hear every single one of your responses. So let's make him earn his last couple of days. Sorry, Dave. All right, so what we wanted to do, this is the last one of 2020. And we've had so much fun doing Deering Live. So we thought we'd invite as many people as we could who have appeared on Deering Live since, when did we start doing this? Like June?
May or June. Yeah, we started a little earlier on socials with Chad. Yeah.
That's right. So welcome, everyone. Here we go. So I want to just kind of have a conversation. People are going to come and go. I think there's a few more people who are going to join us. It's going to be very relaxed. Please excuse any technical glitches right up front. We'll do what we can and we'll see where we go. But let's see what's going on. So the first thing really to kind of go through and mention Jamie Deering. Bit of a changing of the guard at the end of last year as far as Deering goes. It's your first year of being CEO full time. How did it go?
Oh, loaded question. Loaded question. I mean, honestly, it on a whole, because of our team, it's not just on my shoulders, but having a team to head like we do has been better than I could have expected in these circumstances. I mean, who would have guessed within a few months of being CEO that we would have a world pandemic? Like, who in their right mind is ever going to guess that? But we rose to the occasion, and I'm very grateful to have been raised by two people who don't give up. And to have that to my core and always looking for solutions and how to keep our team surviving, that outlook and that way of thinking has seen us through. And I'm really proud of every single member of the Deering team and what we've been able to do. It's not been easy, to put it lightly. Mm-hmm. It has been, I can't even step into the little shallow waters of how hard it's been this year, but along with all the challenges, there's been a lot of positives. People who have picked up music for the first time and are turning to banjo or other instruments, a lot of banjo. Seeing people go to something like that is something they'll have for the rest of their life, but is also a therapeutic thing during a very hard time, has been heartwarming. And we've worked our butts off to provide those instruments. So it's a full circle. And I'm looking forward to the future and seeing how the world settles out, and we will keep providing and working hard. Absolutely. How's that for a summary?
That's a pretty good summary. And while you were talking, we welcome Mr. Kevin Neal. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Hey, Kevin. Good to see you.
Hello. I need to add to what Jamie said that when she became the CEO, none of us knew the pandemic was coming, but we knew she would be really good. And mapping our way through all of the protocol and all of the hoops and stuff that had to occur to make things work right, Jamie has done and is doing a much better job than Jen and I would have
She's
done.
got a lot more patience for all of that, sorting through legal stuff.
We're grateful for her and what she's done, and all of our customers, I know, are being much better served under her leadership. So.
Absolutely.
Oh, great.
That's really nice. Wow.
There we go.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
Hey, John.
Wow, John's here now.
John Kavanaugh. We got a whole full house. This is awesome.
This is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like the best Christmas present they could have. Seeing all of you right here on my
Probably the strangest part of 2020, right, is that all these guys here and then a whole host more that we would normally see, at festivals and events. And I think, John, we saw you at the NAMM show, but I think that's pretty much it. Everybody else, we haven't seen all year. It's so weird. So how's everyone doing? Jens, I know how you're doing, but give us a refresh. What have you been up to?
Well, We were in England together. That was last time we've seen each other. You know, when we played when we were in Huddersfield.
That was right
Mhm.
before it started.
Right before.
Yes, and I got to play with Gail.
Mhm.
You know, at the and what a great event that was. And we knew already it was something not good coming, because we just played a few days before in Switzerland, and they just locked it down. You know, we're actually able just to play the last concert, and then they locked Switzerland down. So, and then we came to England, and after that, pretty much just when we came back, that was it. You know, no more shows. We played one show in Asheville all year until now, but we did 70 live streams, 70 hours of live streams.
Wow.
And I recorded my 50 banjo lessons.
Yep.
And we did, you know, now we just recorded our 5th cooking show. It's like, you know, if somebody would have told me that I'm trying to sell recipes cook in my kitchen in order to survive, you know, just to draw attention and, you know, offer. I mean, you strip down. I mean, I used to be I don't want to take too much time, but I used to be a street musician, and I very much feel that way again. You know, I'm putting everything out and just hope for donations, you know, and just hope that somebody is giving me something for what we put out. And so far it's been very challenging, but it's been working. And our crew just, you know, sort of shrunk because Peabody can't come in, do sound. Joel stays home because he doesn't want to get infected. So it's just down to Uwe and me. Mm-hmm. And actually our secretary had to quarantine for a week, for 10 days as well, because she came in contact. And then my daughter Anya took over, you know, with the cameras and all that, you know. But I mean, everybody has its story, but but I think the ability to reinvent yourself in a situation like that is key, you know. And I think, you know, that you took over CEO, Jamie, was exactly the right moment. I think you have all that stamina and that fresh mind, you know, and mindset of looking at it. And I mean, you pulled it off in a way that, you know, nobody could have done better than you. So, I mean, really, we were all very amazed, you know, and what you've done. You know, it's really astounding.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, bravo.
Bravo indeed. And for many people don't realize, we had all these amazing elaborate plans at the beginning of the year to celebrate our 45th
so
year.
many.
And like every single one of them went out the window basically, because they more or less all involved people being in the same room together, and it just didn't materialize. But yeah, no, it's just been a crazy year. But can anyone who hasn't seen Jens's cooking shows, by the way, you need to go check those out, because those are fun. Those are really fun. David Holt was our first Deering Live guest this year, and as far as the official Deering Live, and that was awesome fun. That was fun.
I want to tell you about when I asked in 1989 Greg and Janet to build me a certain banjo that was real deep. They were the only people that would take a chance and do something like that. And here it is. Look at this beautiful thing. This was Greg's first trio live. You got off of an SS Stewart, didn't you, Greg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got a wooden tone ring and a 4-inch deep pot. Mm-hmm. So I used to do a show for the national network called Celebration Express. But let me hit a lick here. She's got the most beautiful wooden tone for a claw hammer. It's just great. It's not harsh at all. Anyway, I was doing this show called Celebration Express, and we went around to 79 different cities all around America, finding people doing unusual and interesting things. And so we went to see Greg and Janet, and that's when I got this banjo. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
Greg?
the Queen Mary.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, and the Queen Mary, right?
Yeah, we met on the Queen Mary.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So they've been a big part of my life. And, you know, I took this banjo when Doc and I were playing in Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival. And it was as many people for as far as you could see. I mean, just as far as you could see, 250,000, something like that. And I realized that just a banjo and a mic was not going to get that. Just two people on stage with a banjo and a mic. So I had them make me another one. This is the white oak banjo, a lot simpler, but something I can tote around, and it's got the Cabanjo pickup in it. So that works great. 250,000 people could hear it. That was the good news.
Wow.
And we got John Kavanaugh down there, just
Yeah.
so proud.
Yeah.
It works.
You
great.
know, permagrin.
Permagan. Whenever you see, yeah. And speaking of Banjo users, Jeff DeRosa just chimed in. Hey, Jeff, what's going
Hey,
on?
Jeff. Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey.
So this is cool. We've got a really nice selection now of different, just completely different styles, right?
Yeah.
A lot of 5-string resonators, but Jeff's the only 4-stringer. Do you feel left out, Jeff? Are you feeling okay? Feeling all right? For anyone who doesn't, Jeff obviously with Dropkick Murphys and a killer tenor player with them. So
really small.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you got
there you go.
a used to.
there you go. That's very cool. And Eric Gibson, how are you doing?
I'm hanging in there. How are you
Hanging in
doing?
there? We're good. We're good. Yeah, you came and joined us when we did we did 3 over the course of IBMA week because that obviously was canceled and went virtual. So that was a good test. But that was a fun episode too.
Okay.
How many of these guys would you normally see at festivals around the year if you were out on the road doing your thing?
You know, I'd see Jamie Deering a few times and Jens a few times. We actually got to play on stage with Jens. I don't know how long ago now. I've lost all track of time with all of this, but I certainly miss doing what I got used to doing for a living, as all of us have. But adjusting and hoping for the best in the coming year.
Absolutely.
I suspect that it will be a much better year. It can't be much worse than 2020. I don't think. I hope.
Right.
So, now the reason we did invite a lot of Deering Live attendees, but obviously Jeff and Kevin haven't done an episode yet. But the reason that they are both here as well is because we also invited a few of the guys who took part in our Giving Tuesday Banjo project, which Jamie Deering headed up. And Jamie, you want to talk a little bit about that and how that came about, and then maybe Jeff and Kevin can chime in on their chosen models.
Sure. I mean, as a lot of people know, we do charity banjos in different ways over the last 10 years or so. And it got towards the end of the year and it was just weighing on me that we hadn't been able to do much of any of that this year. And it just really, and I know production was, at full tilt, trying to get things out with all the inventory challenges. We can build, but doesn't mean we can get our inventory all the time because all of our vendors are in different scenarios too. So I didn't want to stress our team, but I got, word that we had a little room where we could do a few special ones. And that's where I thought of, Giving Tuesday was just far enough away and the perfect mission for what the world needed right now. So I reached out to several of the artists that we've done a lot with over the years that are to me like family, and like Kevin, I've wanted to do something with for so long that it was a real treat to get to reach out and collaborate on it. So that's how it started, and that we managed to pull it off in a few months with another feat. Yay, digital world. But and the response from the charities, from everyone who participated, and the designs were just awesome.
And we what was the total that we raised? We had 6 total, and Kevin and Jeff were 2 of them.
Yes, altogether we raised $29,185 for charities, all human needs, things that are helping people right now. Really, all worthwhile activities. So.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was huge.
I think walking around the shop, I think no offense, Jeff, but Kevin, I think you certainly your choice of colors certainly got the attention of most of the guys in the shop. It was called the Fireball, right?
The Fireball, yeah. It was really fun to have that opportunity to build a banjo with all the pieces you gave us the option to choose from. It was like, bringing something home from IKEA.
Just say that.
Well, you get to pick all the colors on the custom design site. Yeah.
But I was really proud that my banjo got 25,000 of that 29,000.
It was great. Absolutely.
But it's funny. After I saw them all when they were finished, I liked mine the least.
That's so funny.
I thought everybody else had much better creative design taste than I did, and Like I especially like the black one. I think Rihanna. Did that one.
Rhiannon's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I just discovered her lately, her playing, which I really like a lot, you know, the frailing and
Yeah, David, you've done a lot of work with Rhiannon over the years with various TV shows and Dom as well, who was another guest. He couldn't make it today, unfortunately. But yeah, she's a fantastic player.
Oh, she's really great. And yeah, we did her on one of the very first, had her on the very first David Holt State of Music, which is on PBS. And we're doing a show on Trey, I might add. This spring it will come out.
Oh, we can talk about that in just a minute. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
David, are you in Franklin, Tennessee?
No, I live in Asheville, North Carolina.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure. Well, actually, I live in Fairview, which is about 10 miles past resumed speed, but out here in the country. But it's right outside of Asheville.
Because I've been in Franklin for the last week or so, and I thought I saw something online that you were Franklin, Tennessee.
No, I'm pretty much being totally paranoid about the quarantine.
Just locked away in Asheville.
Oh.
Yeah. So Kevin's in Franklin. Do we have anyone out here in the Carolina outside of me and the Deerings? I think everyone's out on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
I'm in Nashville.
Oh, that's right. You're in Nashville too.
Yep.
With Kevin. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Jeff, what was your charity that you chose for your banjo?
The band's charity. We have a charity called the Collada Fund, and
right.
we do a lot of stuff for that to raise money for that. And yeah, I don't know how much it was raised. I think it was $2,000 or something.
Yeah, about 2,500. Yeah, it was good.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys do a ton of great work with that charity. It was really nice. I had a feeling that's what you would pick, so I was really pleased that that's the one you guys went with.
Yeah, I kind of had to go with that. You know?
Yeah.
I think one of my more surreal moments near the beginning of this whole thing was probably like a weekend, I think it was, maybe 2 weeks. I don't remember the exact date, Jeff, but you guys did the live show at Fenway.
Oh, yeah.
At the very, very empty Fenway Park. And I remember we had it on TV. My kids were jumping around because they like a few of your songs. I remember standing there with my wife just going, this is weird. The whole thing is just weird. Like all your techs have masks on. And it was kind of at that time where no one really knew everything yet. Like we didn't know enough. We just knew that people couldn't be there. And it was just so odd to see. I'd just been in there with actually David Banjowski, like maybe 4 months prior to that or something. Visiting Fenway to see it full of people and then to see you guys playing it empty. How was that as an experience?
It was very eerie feeling. Play to nobody.
Right.
You know, we obviously had to do these check-ins every day where we had to prove that we were healthy and all, and it was just kind of eerie to play in the empty field. But I did steal some of the dirt. I think it's still in my pocket.
Nice.
Nice. That was a great show. I watched that too. It was really needed at the time to see, live music, even in that setting.
Yeah, we raised like 700,000 or something for a couple of charities.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Wow.
Congrats. And what's next year looking like for you, Jeff? Just as far as is anything being confirmed as far as like touring? Because you're out and about internationally a lot of the time as well. And
yeah,
how is that looking?
We have all the summer festivals booked, but we're just waiting for them to kind of cancel on it. I don't know. All in Europe, so that's not looking so good.
Man.
Cross our fingers.
Yeah, cross our fingers.
We just finished. I actually was just listening to the mastering of it, and it's coming out in January.
Nice.
And we just came out with the song today. With you can see some cool shots of the banjo, and if you look at the video.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. I got goosebumps. It was a great teaser.
What's the song called?
I Wish You Were Here, I think. And
nice.
We made a video for it, and there's some cool viewing shots in there.
Very cool. Very cool. I wish you all the best with the album release. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was a great time. The one thing I think I was looking forward to the most out of all this is hopefully the creativity. This is the kind of thing that normally spurs a lot of creativity with people, and so I'm sure there'll be a good amount of quality work coming out as people kind of focus in on what they want to do. But I'm intrigued by David. Are you at liberty to, David Holt? Sorry. Are you at liberty to talk about the thing you're going to do with Trey?
Yeah.
Trey, unmute yourself. Let's talk about it.
Sorry about that.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess we got together. When was it? Was it July or August? We got together.
I think that'd be about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got together and did an episode for David Holt's State of Music. So that was super fun, and got to go and hang out, and we were all safe, in case anybody's wondering.
Yeah, we had a crew of 7 people, but still everybody's very, very careful, and nobody's gotten sick yet. But we're taking a hiatus till season 6 starts next year sometime, but who knows when that'll be. What do you guys think? Is it going to come back and we're going to have concerts, or is it going to be just dribble in and slowly build up? What do you think?
I think it's going to be a slow build, just because everyone's going to have a different amount of time until they're comfortable. You know, I have friends that are like the second concerts are out, they're front row center, and other people are probably going to take a little while to feel comfortable. I've done a lot of reading on the Spanish flu and how the world responded. And it's pretty uniform in the various.
Well, can't hear you. What was the last thing you said?
Oh, the Spanish flu, you know, and how the world went back after that, because it's the only thing similar to now. And it took a few years for everyone to really start being comfortable. So again, some people more than others. I think it'll trickle.
How's everyone feeling? I'm curious of what everyone's thoughts are on that. I mean, obviously for a lot of you, most of you, I imagine this is livelihood we're talking about. Eric and Donnie, I know you played a show recently for Hanukkah, which wasn't in front of people, right? That was just a live streaming event. How was that? But what's everyone's feelings as well after this question? What's everybody's feelings on the festival scene of 2021? Let's talk about that.
It's going to be rusty. Everybody's going to be rusty.
Well, some people are keeping up.
Well, that's probably true.
Eric and Donnie, how was your show? How was your Hanukkah show?
The Hanukkah show was great. We did a live show from Lee Von Helm Studios in Woodstock, New York. And it was a huge ordeal, though, to get the band together. We all tested. We had to test the camera crew, 3 camera crew, plus the folks at the venue. Of course, there was no one there. So we were safe about it, but it just took weeks and stuff to plan that. And then how are we going to release it? And we did it with nugs.net. And it was all great. And it turned out really great for us. But, it's just one of those things. I know we've all had to really dig into our souls and our hearts to figure out ways to manage during this time. It's actually yielded some ridiculously creative, I now want to eat Jens and Uwe's food. Like this, I wouldn't have had. But we're all trying to figure it out. It was good for us. I have no idea when it's going to come back, like all of us. But
I think Melfest Jamie, am I right in saying this? They've rescheduled it's normally in April. They've moved it out till September.
It's now the same weekend as the Walnut Valley Festival in Kansas.
That's right.
2 of our biggest events of the year are on the same weekend now.
On the same
That'll
weekend.
be fun.
There will be no one.
As long as they happen, they will be.
But I think, I think it's also been great, for a lot of people having the opportunity reflecting on what's important in life. And I think a lot of people sort of, also decided to start up, playing music, getting an instrument and, making new goals, having new ideas, I have a lot of friends, who practice a lot and learned a lot in this year. I don't think, but it's probably going to be very, a challenge. Like you said, Jamie, it's a lot of arts councils dissolved. A lot of concert halls who've been closed for a while can't reopen because their code of is not working anymore. They cannot just reopen. They have to rebuild. And so there's a lot of challenges, for a lot of people out there to just they cannot just go back and reopen. Some of them can, but a lot of them don't even have the staff, to hire, or didn't have the staff to, look for the money, from the states for the grants, to actually have the money to start hiring bands, So our management is talking to people who say, oh, okay, next year they're going to have, a few shows here and there. Like festivals, all the festivals that have been canceled, they say, okay, we're booking the same bands, again for next year. But then they say, okay, we don't have the money anymore. We don't have the grants, to actually do that. Or And it's it's going to be quite a challenging time, ahead of us. But I'm sure it's all going to come back. It's just going to take a little time and a little patience,
Yeah.
People want to know they feel safe when they go to any event, right? Doesn't matter if it's a movie or a sporting event or a festival. I think festivals will be a little easier just based on the fact they're outside and they're not like in a confined space. I hope.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see what 2021 brings on that one. Billy Feather is watching. Hank. She says, "Yay, banjo party."
Hey, Billy.
Hey, Billy. Hank, how are you doing? Now, if anyone is subscribing to our emails, you would have seen Hank give a wonderful lesson last week on how to play Carol of the Bells.
Oh,
Yep.
That was a fun one. I even learned how to play a little bit of that
Nice.
myself.
It's an easy one. That's a good one for the holiday season, if you will. It's been a wild year for sure. I saw you guys last in February when I came out there right before all this stuff happened, and that was really a lovely trip. Honestly, that was great. Really a highlight of the year.
Yep.
To be honest, every waking moment of that trip was fantastic, and a lot of things stick out in my mind, but there are a few things that keep coming back, like the quieter moments we all had. There would be times, I guess, in the mornings when I would sit with Greg and Janet having breakfast, waiting on Jamie to come pick me up. And we would talk about everything under the sun. It was awesome just to be able to sit there quietly and talk, not plugged into anything. And since we've had a year of Zoom fatigue, to really reflect back on those moments, to be able to just sit there and drink coffee and talk about all of the things. It was really, really special. And, coming back to North Carolina all charged up with best laid plans totally laid to waste, obviously. But that being said, one silver lining for me anyways, or a couple silver linings. One is that I've still been able to teach, which is good. But been steadily working on 24 preludes for banjo and string quartet in all 12 keys and relative minors. And I think I'm about 16 deep now, which is good, but haven't really, I've heard them played by the computer, but not by real humans, so I can't wait to get a hold of a string quartet and then make them play all this esoteric banjo music.
Yeah.
That sounds intense. That sounds like you and Jens and everyone should be getting together on
that. Well, Hank knows my cooking.
Yeah, he does.
Pretty amazing. Get all this together.
Is it as good as it looks?
We know who's going to cater the big hang whenever we can have it.
No.
Kruger Brothers Cookout is going to be one of the events we've got to do out in 2020.
Well, gotta happen.
Well, you've been to our parties in my house, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's never short of food.
This is true. They're good parties. Yeah. Brian, you're very quiet there in the background. How you doing,
just
man?
Listening. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. How's Nashville?
It's been quiet for me. I've always been able to fall back on a studio musician career here when I'm not on the road, and I've definitely taken breaks intermittently all the time in the different bands that I'm in. So I've been sitting here doing records for everybody. Many of which whose names I'm not going to mention because I didn't want to be on there to begin with. But yeah, I have a home studio and I sit here and I mostly do tracks for people and email them. And I released a record at the beginning of last year. At the end of January 4th or 5th last year, I released a record, improvisational record with banjo and synthesizer called The Realists. And I was booking a bluegrass tour. I had to cancel a whole month long in Europe this fall. I was going to go over there and play some bluegrass with a friend. But, I get down to the station inn every now and then and play with some buddies. And I just sit at home and do some tracks. And I don't go anywhere.
Are you finding that the country musicians are using more banjo these days, or about the same or less? Or for recording?
It kind of depends. Everybody puts their guitar on the 6-string banjo. I have been seeing more Deering banjos on the walls of people who aren't banjo players, so that's pretty good. 6-string banjo kind of keeps the 5-string banjo under its thumb here in Nashville because it's cheaper to put your telly player on a 6-string than it is to call a 5-string player. But yeah, I'd say most of my studio work comes from LA, San Francisco, and New York at this time, but I have done a few sessions in Nashville. I do them in Nashville. They're just, a lot of them aren't from here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, while we're all sick and tired of Zoom and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah,
technology
this is
has its
like my
place.
3rd or 4th time on Zoom. I was using Skype before that to do one-on-one lessons for a long time.
Yeah, because many of you are teaching as well, right? I know. I think probably most of you that I've spoken to over the course of the year, that you've been hardcore teaching on Zoom. What's that experience like? And that question is for all of you who are teaching over the internet. How's it going?
Goes pretty well for me. I basically give a big inspirational speech, and then I send them what I taught them in a PDF tablature after I'm done, and it goes pretty well.
Yeah,
it's pretty quick. I've been dialing it in for like 10 years now, so
that's true. Oh yeah, yeah. Hank, I know you've been doing it a bunch, right?
Yeah, the UNC Zoom lessons have been by and large pretty good, but the advantage to that has been on nice days I've been able to go out to campus and teach them in person, just out on the quad there, distanced and masked up and stuff, and that has been a real morale booster whenever it was nice in the fall before it got too cold. And so it makes the Zoom lessons that much more palatable, I suppose, because you get that, watch the weather and see if we can get together and do it in real life. But honestly, I think everybody, at least my students by and large across the board, adjusted pretty quickly. I mean, it's been a rather seamless transition, and knowing that we can do that now going forward is important, because if you're out of town, if you're sick or something like that, you can still have a lesson and not fall behind or whatever, or that kind of thing. So it's been good. It's also been good, honestly, too, for stuff like this, and just reaching out to people in general to nerd out over banjo stuff, one way or the other. Everybody's no one's touring, so they're all at home. You can just say, hey, help me with this thing. You know what I mean? It's been all right. It's cool. It definitely, once you're liberated from the geographic limitations, I feel like you can sort of tap into it a little differently.
Yeah. Well, you're a great teacher, Hank.
Oh, you went quiet.
Well, you went quiet, Hank.
I think he said thank you.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Bashful.
No, you just you're awesome. I mean, it's of course Ryan. I mean, you're such an amazing banjo player and just a great guy.
Thanks.
I mean, everybody just loves you. So that's just wonderful that you keep doing that. It's important, to stay in contact with the people that support you and love your music. Staying close contact is very important, I think, right now. Not to lose them. No, I'm saying, over internet, trying to have content or something. I've been recording for Bobby Vega, the bass player, or for different people, just doing tracks. And luckily, I was lucky also that I got a new commission for a big classical piece. So whenever I have time, I can sit on that as well. So I mean, we're just trying, to just fall back to whatever we can do.
Exactly. Yeah. What I'm curious, and again, this is to everybody. We can just kind of round robin it. But getting, from February through now, outside of teaching, how has playing a musical instrument kind of helped everyone kind of navigate their way through the last basically year? What has that meant to you, being a musician? Can you imagine being without it? Let's start with Ryan. You want to navigate something?
Wow, I mean, I've been playing banjo every day since I was 10, so it's kind of like a meditation when I practice or learn a song. I've plenty to work on. I mean, I've never really rested on my laurels as far as pursuing more knowledge on the banjo. So I just dig my heels in deep and practice really hard or I've been working on 2 records this whole time.
Yep.
And I was, a lot of my friends from around the world reached out. As a lot of you know, I'm friends with John McLaughlin, the guitar player. He put me in touch with a bunch of Indian musicians in Mumbai. We've been working on something that's going to come out next year, and I got a bunch of friends in Ireland. Eddie Whelan, the banjo player, and a lot of his friends with Gaelic names I can't pronounce. We did a little Brady Bunch video, and we're going to work on a record for next year. And I just work twice as hard when there isn't. This is a lot of the time I was on the road, and trying to keep it together. A lot of the time with bands, I didn't want to be. I wanted to work on my own music, but I couldn't because I had to make ends meet. So this has afforded me a lot of the time to work on my own music. So it's been really great.
That's been put very well by you, Ryan. I think, as a musician, we travel and we play a similar material, that we had worked out with our band, almost constantly. And then you add songs here and add songs here, but you fall always back into a routine that you have to, because it's your job. You promised a certain program or you promised a certain thing, and since we're home, it's also a liberation to work freely on new things. I don't have to repeat myself constantly.
Yeah, a lot of the time I felt like I was in you take certain jobs and you take one after the other. I don't have a record label or any funding, so I'd go on the road with bands and I'd have all these ideas that I wanted to do for my own music while I'm sitting there in a van, reading a book and I couldn't do them because I was locked in by the paycheck. And now it's just like, there's no choice but to work on my own music. It's been like a vacation, really. It's really like, it's a luxury to be able to work on my own ideas and not be distracted by anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what binds us all together is the great tools we're working with, and that's thanks to Janet and Greg and Jamie and Jamie Laddie, how they support us. I can't stress that enough. We have great instruments, and if we have problems with them, we can make a phone call.
Yeah, thanks for your great customer service. A lot of my companies just kind of went dark when this happened. There's a company I get cables from and electronic cables and stuff, and I just haven't heard from them. Some of them were really slow, and you guys were always right to get back to me. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Kind of what we try and do. Yeah, I think we just kind of took the approach of we can't quit. There's too many people relying on us. First and foremost, the 30-some guys working here, that was the most important one.
Yeah, that's why we started originally with Chad and I, before we brought everybody back, or were able to bring everybody back from furlough, is we started doing live on socials of tech tips, because we were getting a lot of calls and emails of like, okay, I'm taking my banjo out for the first time in 2 years. What do I do to make sure it's ready to play? So we started just doing what we would have done at festivals, or if we were at a store, is we provided all that education on live videos. And that's what evolved into this, our During Live segment, to provide to our community when we can't see them. This is our way to still connect.
Yeah. I have a question. Do you
had a real upburst of selling banjos, didn't you?
Oh. Say that again.
You had a really growth in sales this year, didn't you, from the pandemic?
I mean, the sales have been strong. As far as what we can deliver is a whole nother story. The balance of those two, because there's been a lot of challenges on getting the materials we need to build them, which we've been steady, but we could have provided more if the resources had been there. Yeah. So it's been it's been a successful year in that regard. It's still about similar to what.
Yeah. Jens, you had a question.
Yeah, I just wondered, is the old time banjo market still growing?
Seems like it.
David Holt seems pretty qualified to talk about that.
I think it is. I get people all the time telling me, asking me what banjo to buy, and I always tell them the good time if they're starting out and don't know what they're going to do, because you'll always want to keep it, and you'll always want to use it no matter what banjo you grow into. So I have a lot of people asking me about that, wanting to learn clawhammer style.
Yeah, we released the Vega Vintage Star earlier in the year. Well, actually, no,
Awesome.
quite recently, a month or two ago, and
Awesome.
that's been very well received. So yeah, I think David's probably right there.
I got to jump in here and just say hi to Dave. I haven't seen you in 30 years. You played at my middle school when I was 11 years old, and my math teacher made me get on stage and play with you. It was in Mount Airy, North Carolina. I think it was the first time I was ever on stage.
Oh man, what did you play? Did you play banjo or did you play guitar?
I played banjo. I think I played
that is
Rocky Mountain
cool.
Breakdown with you or something like that. But I haven't seen you in the flesh. I don't think you're really in the flesh now, but I haven't seen you in person since.
Wow.
That's
Still
amazing.
living. Yeah.
So great.
I've met a lot of people through the years, and about half the Steep Canyon Rangers saw me when I came to their elementary schools, various schools around North Carolina. And it really had an effect on people, which is cool.
Yeah.
It really did. Yeah, you played a great show at the middle school, and you know, my math teacher was like, "You play, we have to get you up there." And I'm like, "No." No, and they pushed me up there with you. I brought my banjo to school every day, and they put me up there, propped me up there with you, and we played it too.
And look at you now.
Look at me now. No gigs. Hey.
I didn't know that story. That's
that
great.
Awesome.
David. And we can welcome, she's here, Kristen Benson. Kristen,
Hey, Kristen.
Right.
Good to see you.
Hello.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Now,
I wanted to wish you, happy 45th anniversary, right?
Oh, thanks.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
That's so good.
We did it just in time. Just what, 8-9 days shy of it being a 46th year. But we got there, so we had to do something.
This is a good way to celebrate.
That's awesome.
Kristen, you're on your way to see Ryan and Kevin. I think you're on your way to Nashville, right?
Yeah, I'm on the way to Nashville. I just pulled over a bit. You were so nice. I said, "Oh, I'd love to be able to say hello, but I'll be on the way." And you were like, "Well, if you pull over, you can beep in for a second, but don't do it going down the road." So thanks.
When Kristen wrote to me, she said, "I'm going to be driving. Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Well, are you going to call in while you're driving? Are you a passenger or are you actually in control of the vehicle? Because I'd rather you just kind of didn't." I don't want to be responsible.
I'm glad you're on.
Yeah, I can't stay long, but I had to say hello and just wish you guys well and tell you that I hear more good time and Sierra banjos than anything in the world. My life is full of good time and Sierra banjos because everyone that I teach is playing one of those instruments and they're great. So I just wanted to say hello and wish you guys Merry Christmas and congratulations on all these years in business.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you being a good time ambassador. And
yeah, absolutely, guys.
Absolutely.
It's great to see you. Well, I'm gonna log on.
Hi, Kristen.
Keep going. Hey, Tony.
Thanks. Good to see
Tony's
you.
here too.
Hey, I'm so sorry. This day is crazy, and I have to leave right now.
No way.
Our dog had surgery, and it's a whole other story. But I just wanted to get on for 1 minute to say congratulations to you two lovely people. And you too, Jamie. Congratulations, all you guys, and thanks so much for everything. And I hope maybe I'll drive out there tonight or something and see you guys in San Diego. I'm not sure.
That'd be great.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah. I'm sorry I couldn't stay longer. It was this day's a little crazy, but anyway, hello and goodbye, everybody.
I hope your dog is well.
Thank you,
Wish
Tony.
well. Merry Christmas, Tony.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Tony.
That was so rude.
And I wanted to ask Tony about he called me over Thanksgiving break, and I was out of town, but he wanted to know if I could send him a picture of the silver clipper banjo that he plays, his banjo. I said, "What do you need that for?" And he goes, "Because I'm making a mask of just hundreds of silver clipper banjos all over the mask, and I wanted to see if he had one." I have not seen them yet.
Funny.
That's awesome. That's a good idea.
John
you're asking us what we did during the pandemic, as far as the stuff. And I collected over the years so many banjo instructional books. And I used to get the banjo newsletter it seemed like it came out every day. They were just piling up. I got them for like 6 years, starting back in 1970. I don't know, 4 or 75, but here's one I brought with me. It's from 1977.
Wow.
I have that issue.
I have like these, binders each year. I think I stopped after about 6 years. It just got ridiculous. I couldn't keep up with it. Like Stephen King books, they kept coming up. I couldn't keep up. But to this day, I still look back at them and I learn songs from them. And just like some of these, like I know we all probably had this one.
Oh yeah.
Earl Scruggs signed this for me. He came to see me at Zany's Comedy Club in Nashville, and he came into the green room in the back because I knew his son, Randy, I think his name is, and he brought his dad, and he signed. And I had my banjo with me. And did you ever, when you were starting out, try to play in front of a professional?
Oh.
It's all of a sudden you don't know how to play the instrument.
Yeah.
But he signed it for me anyway. And then these are a couple others that I kind of spent a lot of time with.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Those are cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, there's a few guys talking in the chat right now. Didn't know Kevin played banjo, which
I don't really.
we knew.
Still learning.
Well, this is not true. But you've been playing a long time, right?
Yeah, since I was 18, I've been playing.
Wow.
But I've been doing a lot of things since I was 18, and I haven't gotten good at it. I have too many hobbies. That's my problem,
Doesn't John Lithgow play too? John Lithgow plays banjo as well.
I think he plays, is it tenor?
Oh, cool.
Does he really?
I saw him on a commercial playing a 5-string.
Oh, really?
But I didn't really follow up. And then I know Bill Murray's crashed a couple of my friends' gigs, showing up with a washboard and a bike horn.
No cowbell.
That's right.
I'm curious, Kevin, though, what was it that inspired you to play when you were 18?
Well, I tell people what it was, and they laugh like it's a joke, but it's really true. I went to see Deliverance, and I was playing the guitar at the time. I was taking lessons from a guy who claimed he played with the big bands, and I researched him. I couldn't find his name with any of the big bands, but I went to see the movie Deliverance, and it moved me so much, the way the banjo came in, that I went out and I bought a horrible banjo. The strings were maybe that far off the neck. And then I just started practicing. And I was a lifeguard, and I would keep the banjo in my van. And on my break, I'd go in my van and start practicing the rolls. This was in 1974 or whatever, 73. And I kind of, I hooked up with Paul Morrissey. I don't know if you know him from Liberty Banjo.
Oh yeah.
We know Paul.
Sure.
Yeah. So it was in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he was in a class I was in at college called entrepreneurship or something like that, start your own business. And so he had a shop, and I would go down there, and one of the carvers on the banjos was an Eastern Airlines pilot. I think his name was Bill or Bob or something. But
Bob Fletcher.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. And but it was a good banjo, and I still have it. But that's when I started playing, and I never really played with anybody. I was just a bedroom banjo player for a long time, and until I started playing with John McCune a little bit, and then Steve Martin a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys, I was too good for them, and they dropped me.
And the rest, as they say.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, did you ever have that Steve Martin Brothers album? Did you ever hear that? It was like one side of it was Steve doing a Vegas style comedy thing, and then the other side was him just doing banjo, and it was like the album cover was great because he had like on the one side he had like a martini in his glass, and he was totally like the cheesy like Vegas guy, and then you turn it around and he's got like this denim jacket on and all this like turquoise with his banjo on. It was awesome.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it was great.
I remember I was in the Caribbean once with Steve Martin when I was on Saturday Night Live. We went to St. Bart's, and they would always go to St. Bart's, him and Lorne Michaels. And I was there, and we were body surfing at one of the beaches, and we were talking about banjos. And he said he hadn't played his banjo for a while. And this is like in 1988 or something. And he said, I said, I only know a few songs, Steve, on the banjo, like the classics. He goes, yeah, me too. And then a couple years later, he started playing more again. and started with this Steve Canyon Rangers, and again, then he got really good. And I recorded one of the openings to Weeds, the theme song Weeds with Steve, because they had a season where they had different artists doing the theme song in the beginning. So that was a lot of fun to play with him on that.
And you played on that show. You played a little banjo on that show, didn't you?
I played a little banjo on that show.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Where
fun.
do you live in now, Kevin? Where do you live now?
I live in Los Angeles, but I'm visiting Nashville for most of December, and who knows how much longer. But I don't, but I've been playing the banjo a lot more lately, and I got I'm focusing more on frailing now and clawhammer, because I have a beautiful banjo that these guys made for me.
You're playing the clawgrass banjo, right?
Clawgrass, right? Yeah, Mark Johnson. Although I haven't really gotten into that yet, I'm more doing the old time, learning that. I have to play more with other people to keep the interest going.
Well, you're in a good city for that.
Bad time, but good city.
Bad time, good city. Yes.
You go down to the Station Inn on a Monday night and catch some COVID while you get your channel on.
Oh my God.
They still get together down there. They do it.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder how many bands.
I want to know what Greg and Janet are going to do now. Are you guys retiring, or what are you going to do?
Oh, that's an on-the-spot kind of question.
There's no retirement anywhere on the horizon. We have many banjos yet to be born.
I've made it clear they're allowed to. They choose not to. They really love what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm enjoying working in the shop with Greg because I missed working with my hands. First 15 years while Jamie was growing up, I was working in the shop, buffing and wet sanding and doing the final work on the finishes. So I've been doing the powder coating, and we got the ProPick brand. And so I've been the production section of ProPick to put out those picks since we got it in March.
And you got the arm to prove it.
Yeah, I'm strong, man.
Right.
Strong.
Ever since we got ProPicks, Janet has been the only one making the picks. And since March, she's made over 19,000 picks. She's the finger pick making queen of the world.
Wow.
You know, just shape them. It's fun.
She is. Wow.
But I balanced that with the powder coating, all the finishes. I've been perfecting. Greg set up that area, figured out the technology, turned it over to me, and then I've been the one perfecting it even further to be able to produce them reliably with great quality. And now I'm training up somebody else who can learn that technology, so I won't always have to do it. But I had fun doing all these banjos for a Giving Tuesday. That was really fun.
Yeah, she did the colors.
I just finished, and we finally delivered a banjo I worked on for 2.5 years. It had a theme of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And I've got another order for a banjo that's based on the sailing ship, the clipper ship, the Cutty Sark. So I'm real busy with that kind of stuff. Plus, Jamie's got me and our whole crew working on developing an entirely new generation of tooling for our banjos so that we can make them better and more efficiently. And there's no end to the amount of improvement we can do. So there's no retirement on the horizon. But luckily, it's all about the magic. We get to come to work and make banjos every day. We almost take it for granted, but once in a while we realize, hey, it's pretty special.
Do you have the 20,000 Leagues there, the other one?
This is the demo one, yeah.
We should show the world because it is special. We can get in on that.
I'm going to pin that.
I mean, we'll have photos we get to share. I'm seeing if you can see it.
Wow.
Awesome.
This one was unusual. I made a practice neck to make sure I had it right, and then we did the real neck. And just before we finished it, we chipped the maple, and we glued the chip back in, and usually they disappear, and they didn't. So we had to make a whole nother new neck. And the customers got that one now. But this was the one that chipped, which is perfectly okay, and now it lives in Jamie's office.
This is my office. This is like also kind of like a museum. So all of these are either the first one of a series or really
Yes.
special ones we did. So it will happily be.
Well, what I find most striking, you know, how long we've known each other now since 1997, right? And we've been working intensely together, you know, for a long time. And what's most striking, you know, I think it's important, you know, to celebrate the 45th year of you guys being in business. I mean, most striking I find is the positiveness that you put out in the world. I see so many people, you know, you know, even when the crisis was, you know, the financial crisis 12 years ago, you know, you always stayed with a smile. You know, we were on the ship right after that, and you were always like, yes, it's going to be fine. We're going to go through this. We're going to do this. There's never been a negativity coming from any of you family, you know, and this is just, it's astounding. You know, I mean, my mother always said, you have to find something that you put into the world that the world needs, and then the world will provide for you because you put something into the world. So she always said, it really doesn't matter what you do. It only depends on what you do to people, right? And cool. You have just given with everything you do. I mean, the passion that you put into this new banjo design and the passion you had with everything you've done, you know, in the company, you passed it right on to your daughter. And it's the same positiveness and energy and strength, you know, it's really extraordinary. It's not, this is not normal, you know. I mean, for you guys, this seems like this is normal but it's not. You know, when you look in the world, people are not that way. And I'm just so, I think I can speak for all of us. We're just so happy and proud that we can be part of this. You know, be part of your family, your dreams, and you make our life, just because of that positiveness, make it so much better. You know, I really want to thank you for this. This is just amazing.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate it. But it's beyond words to say how proud and special it is for us to be sitting here on a Zoom meeting with all of you up there on the screen. It's beyond my wildest imagination. When I first started building, I just needed to build. I could not build. But to get to share it with everybody and all of you is just incredible.
Yeah.
And what gets the world going in the right direction is always focusing on, well, what can we do? How can we continue to make our products and get it out there and not let any counter intention from turmoil stop that gift of music to everyone.
Well, one of the positive things from this whole pandemic is when it's all over, the world's going to have a lot more banjo players.
And everybody will be better at their flat craft because they've practiced a lot.
And they'll all be better.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But when the shutdown first hit, I thought, you know what? They might tell me I can't have any employees in this building, but they can't tell me I can't come to work. So we kept coming even more determinedly to work because I knew that people would be at home and need their picks and their strings and have no place to get them. So I had the girl who ran our website do me a quick instructional sheet of how do you actually ship using the computer and the website and get it out the door. And so for those first 2 weeks, I came in every day and shipped picks and strings and everything people needed, thinking I'm not leaving them stranded at home with no way to get the supplies they need. Yeah. And it was actually fun for me because I knew I was really making a difference in other people's lives. And that's, being able to do good for other people is sort of like the backbone of what we're all about. And you have a good feeling when you know you're giving to somebody else something that they need.
Yes. Yeah, that's very, very impressive.
It's a lot of what we've done all year as well.
Yeah, that's what you told us, Jamie Laddie. I mean, he told me the story how, we have a business here and we have a secretary that plows through all these applications and regulations, and because but Jamie Laddie was telling me how you would come in, Jamie, and clean. Go clean with your own hands, come in and spray things and wipe them off and make the place safe for your employees and go with all the regulations, and do that. I mean, you didn't hire somebody to do that. You come in early and you do it, and it's remarkable. Yes, I mean, because you keep the employees, you look out for them, you help them go through this, and it's amazing. I mean, what a first year.
Yeah.
I mean, if after this, it's just gonna be
downhill.
easy.
It's gonna be super easy.
It's just gonna be easy. You've been through it all.
Yeah. Trial by
Literally all. Yes.
What was interesting.
Is so busy most of the time, I don't get to see her as much as I'd like, but I get to see her every day when she literally disinfects the entire factory. And I've got 2 offices in different ends of the building, and she gets to both of them every day. So I always get to see her on her disinfecting
You
rounds.
count about 4:30, she'll come through squirting all the door handles.
I don't know if it's like this for the rest of you guys, but I felt like a modern banjo player once I was brought in to Deering, because before that, and I don't get to see you guys in person, but as much as I'd like to, but here on the East Coast, and I don't know if any of you older banjo players are familiar with this, but I need frets, I need a new bridge, I need something. Then became this whole like wild goose chase of like driving 100 miles through the woods to find some old guy who chain smoked and filled your head full of snake oil while he like pounded on your banjo with a hammer. And it was this whole thing, finding the guy that worked on the banjos. And it did have its hillbilly novelty to it, but I'm so happy I don't have to do that anymore.
We don't use that much snake oil here, just a little bit.
Well,
it's on the fingerboard.
They told you all kinds of stuff. I mean, I have this lock of Earl Scruggs' hair. It's not a real banjo unless we rub that on the head. I mean.
The interesting thing is when at the beginning we had, we were in the middle of transitioning into a new media person for the company as well, and it all went. And we had, as Hank mentioned earlier, he'd visited us a little bit earlier than that, and we had this amazing collection of videos that we had somewhat started putting together, but because we were transitioning, hadn't been done. And so, Mr. Bajowski and I got together, and what are we gonna do? Like, we gotta keep this thing going. Let's just keep sending out stuff and then making sure that people have got what they want. And Hank's videos couldn't come at a better time. We had, I think, what was that, 10 episodes?
Yeah,
it was more than that.
Real nice advanced stuff as well, which was very well received.
I'm still waiting on the outtake reel.
Oh, there's plenty.
There's got to be one.
Yep. And then Jens, you got down and just out of the blue had like 30 beginner lessons at your disposal. So going back to kind of the Deering mantra of just trying to help and make sure people have what they need is what it just came natural. We had all this content, and then Jamie and Chad actually said in the first few episodes, I don't remember how you did. It was like 7 or 8 of them.
7 or 8. We used his phone and my phone so we could stream live on on Facebook and on Instagram, because we couldn't do them at the same time on the same phone. So 2 tripods, 2 phones. And on one of them, I think it was Instagram, could only be an hour. So we had to keep it to an hour.
Right.
And just started answering all the questions we were getting emails for.
Yeah, it was fun. And then we just started doing this. And all the people who have been on, from David to everyone here who have contributed, a big portion of Deering Live has been people asking questions about technique and styles and offering up some information. And it's been so helpful for everybody out there to kind of get them through maybe a little hump. One of the questions that David Banjowski always asks, I guess, is, for all of our beginner players out there, like, what is your main piece of advice? And there's always like little gems in there that help everybody. It's awesome. It's awesome. So
you got
thank
a little
you all.
gem for us, David? You got a little gem for us, Bandrowski?
Oh, Bandrowski, you're very quiet.
You're very quiet today.
Don't.
David's in Louisiana, where it's very nice. But Dave, we've had fun this year, I think.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thanks everybody for coming on. I've had a great time, doing the interviews with all of you. I've learned a ton too, just from being able to, listen to tips from all of you and all the different angles that you approach the instrument with.
Oh, Kurt Rosenwinkel, where's he? Did anybody give him a banjo? There's you did all these banjo players and one super famous jazz guitar player. I thought that was great.
So Eric Gibson, I just, you're just so quiet, and I'm just such a huge fan of you and your brother. I love to hear you, and we had such a great time in Chattanooga, and I just wanted to know, how you're doing, and do you play concerts? Do you do online things? What do you do?
Oh, first of all, good to see you, and I'm a big fan of yours, and you're just a sweet guy, and you always have the right words. But no, I've run the gamut. I've been gung ho through parts of the pandemic where I'm just gonna take it to the next level with my music. I'm gonna write, and play, and then I've kind of gone inward and hidden from the world, in different places where raising bees, raising chickens. I grew up on a dairy farm, so that kind of thing. For some reason, I've navigated back towards that. Not dairy, but being close to the land. And but I've written a lot of songs during and they're not all in minor keys. They're not not all songs of the pandemic. There are a lot of different themes, but hanging in there. Overall, doing well. Overall, and we haven't played a lot. I've done a couple, maybe 4 trio gigs with my brother and our bass player Mike Barber, but just logistically, it's been too hard, and I don't have to go into that, but hanging in there. That's all I can say. Ask me tomorrow, I might say I give up.
No, don't
not really.
No, because I tell you, we've been to a few festivals, where you played up in Strawberry, remember, and places, and I hardly ever seen an audience being so happy, just inside happy to be around you guys when you play music, and when you play and sing. It's just, for me, that was just so striking because you really touch people's hearts in a way that is really remarkable. So never ever stop, my friend.
Oh no, and I think I don't know about you guys, but I'm just missing people.
Yeah.
I went to the dump a couple weeks ago, and I kept talking to the poor guys. They were like, "Who is this guy?" I was talking to those guys' ears off. It's like. I just miss. You say people seem happy when they're in their crowd. We're happy, and an audience can tell when you're doing exactly what you want to be doing.
Yes,
and none of us get to do that right now. So, but we'll get through this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, what's the one festival that everybody's looking forward to getting back and playing in whenever they come back? I'm curious. Does everyone have a favorite? Well, apart from any of them, but is everyone?
Whirl Fest for me.
Whirl Fest, yeah.
That's a great one.
I think, and Merle Fest, of course, but they moved Merle Fest exactly on top of Carolina in the Fall. So,
that too. Yeah.
So we're going to play Merle Fest, of course, but we're not going to be it's going to be our 23rd Merle Fest.
Wow. Awesome.
But they moved it right on top of Carolina in the Fall, so we're not going to have Carolina in the Fall. Then of course. Yeah,
we'll get there. John Kavanaugh.
IBMA, I actually really missed because I get to see almost all of you guys at IBMA.
Sure, yeah.
At the booth and stuff, and get to see you perform. And since I'm kind of an offshoot of the manufacturing part of Deering, it's really awesome to see all of you play and entertain, and you all are just incredible. It's inspiring. I've been teaching forever, but then I go to see you guys and I think, should I make modular furniture out of my instruments?
Don't say that. Come on now.
we would sell it on the website, of course.
But it's kind of like what Kevin was saying. You always have someone that inspires you that makes you want to go home and practice. And I always feel that way when I see you guys. And I'm definitely one of those people that is at the NAMM show and can't play to save my life in front of all of you, and because it's humbling. It's humbling when you.
Well, but John, you have to see, my Uwe, my brother, he once put it very well. We had our first long jam with Doc Watson, 1997, in Brenda Shepherd's house, you know, and we played all day. And in the evening, Uwe turned to me, he said, you know, all my life I wanted to become a better musician. Now I know I need to become a better man. and and you know, and so you're very far advanced, my friend, so don't worry.
Well, I'm raising my room temperature coffee glass to Greg and Janet and thanking them for seeing the potential in what I do, and it's been the biggest compliment of my life to have, you know, those of you that are, you know, contributing to, like you said, Jens, what I contributed, you know, seeing a need and putting it out there and just, you know, having it work out. So
hey, you guys all need this coffee mug.
Ooh.
I can do it.
Yeah.
Right on. Right on.
And I have one too. I have to find it.
Oh, Jens has one too. Nice.
How many guys in here play Banjo pickups? Hands up, raise your hands. I know Jeff does.
A few of them. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Gotta get some more.
Yeah.
Well played.
I wish I
Yeah,
did.
wait.
How's that?
Here, you have to
There you
have to read this. I got
Yeah,
this
let's
one.
see.
Be equal. The coolest
Huh.
banjo players.
This is true. This is true.
I agree.
Oh man, who haven't we spoken to?
Say, it's so nice to see all of you. I'm just, my heart is so full. And to the Jamies, you know, we love you guys, and to the whole family, you know, your support means everything to us. You know that. And thank you for inviting us to be here and just always being such good friends and family. And I was looking at Jens. I think that we saw you right before the pandemic. I mean, it was like almost
Wintergrass. It was like one of the last
which
shows.
was almost one of the last shows.
We snuck in there.
Yes,
yeah.
right. Yes,
I
we
just
flew
can't
out there.
believe
Yes.
it, you know. And I'm so used to seeing, you know, the Jamies like for years, like you know, a few times a year. You're like staples in our life, and I miss you, and we just love you.
Well,
I do miss you
I
guys.
feel the
It's
same
weird.
way.
Thank you.
I really miss you.
It's like not seeing family.
It
Oh,
is.
so
It
Really
is.
hard. Like
We
for
got to see you on
everyone
your
on the
birthday
screen.
one year.
No,
and
you just
I
you
know, that
meant
was the
so
best.
much to us.
Yeah, Jens, I think the last time I saw you, we were at Gettysburg Bluegrass Festival and on stage with Rhonda Vincent. So I'd run into you totally randomly.
Yes, right. You were playing with a band from Asheville, didn't you?
Every time you saw me, I was with a different band.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were always, but you were playing your ass off. I'm sorry. I mean,
I was trying to play my ass out of those bands.
and you succeeded.
I think that's what I miss most is running into all of you randomly because I never knew where I was going to be and I was just working hard, you know. And yeah, I miss NAMM as much as I miss anything else. But,
I have to say, I want to throw in like one of my favorite things that I've watched happen growing up with different friends and artists that my folks had, and then when I came on Artist Relations in 2010. I really enjoyed getting to carry on a tradition of connecting people up, especially players and people who we've had the joy of being friends with or working with, to help you all know each other has been one of the greatest joys that I could ever do. Like,
You've been a big part of that, Jamie.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Like I'll never forget when Mumford and Dropkick got to meet because I got a message from, I think it was Jeff, messaged me. You were at a European festival and you were co-headlining with Mumford, and you're like, should I say hi? I was like, of course. Winston's a really laid back guy, and that started a whole nother relationship.
And he came and played on our record.
Right.
Oh, cool.
Right. Yeah, that was so awesome. I love that.
It could only happen in a European festival. I feel like it's just we're all like out Americans abroad, and we just kind of. I mean, they're not Americans, but you know, we just you kind of see each other. Right.
Yeah, you're at in a more relaxed environment where you're you're on the road and you get to make new friends doing similar things. That's so awesome.
Who was your first artist that you when you started A&R?
I mean, it was an interesting time because all of our A&R stuff wasn't digital yet when I popped in, and that's why I went into that role. Social media was just getting big, and we kind of had David Bendrosky actually started our presence there, and I picked it up, and I just started reaching out to everyone and got a hold of Sasha Lazor from Mad Caddies, who are like a punk ska reggae band from California who are fantastic. And Sasha said, you need to talk to Dropkick Murphys. And that's when he helped us connect up when we were coming through town. And
he must have started playing the Sierra.
Yeah, he did. And he played our banjo too. He had a deluxe plectrum. And yeah, that's kind of how that year started. And then going out to shows and meeting everybody I could see that was playing a banjo on social media. And but yeah, you guys and Mad Caddies were my two first main artists to talk to, which was nice because you're all so friendly and I love your music, and it just went from there. And you were my first signature banjo to.
Yeah, right.
That was my very first one.
I remember that really well. Yes, it's amazing. Yeah.
That was awesome. And we hadn't done a tenor signature banjo before. That was a big deal.
That was.
Yeah.
But you know, but Jamie, you really have that banjo in your blood. You know, I mean, you've been underneath the table at NAMM show when you were a baby.
She went with me delivering banjos all over Southern California when I was pregnant with her. Yeah, she's really been a part of everything.
That was true though, right? That was under the story table is a true story.
Yeah.
Is it Bassinet under the NAMM show table?
That's right.
Yeah, she was only what, 6 weeks old?
Yeah. Yep.
Couldn't do that today.
No, I don't think they would allow it today, but I always say that's why when I go to the NAMM show, I'm never overwhelmed. It feels like home. It's a crazy, like, big amount of activity and noise happening, and I never feel uncomfortable there. It's just like, oh yeah, this is the best.
Yeah. my kids came for the first time last year. It was chaos.
Why?
What's that?
Oh, that's good.
They were loving it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and you know, my daughter Anya, she's always there. You know, last few years, and she's helping. And then we have our ritual: go and eat ice cream about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A little bit of soft ice.
So when we have virtual NAMM in a few weeks, then we'll all need to get together and have a virtual party.
Oh, will there be one of those? A virtual?
Yeah,
NAMM?
they're doing it digitally. It's a Believe in Music Week.
Believe in Music Week.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty awesome for what for what they're able to do digitally. They're pulling a lot together.
Wow. That's the same platform that IBMA used, I think. Yeah. So if anyone was
really well.
A few more bells and whistles that they've added in, but yeah.
Yeah. So
but no breakfast sessions.
No, not exactly.
You have to bring your own breakfast.
You have to bring your own breakfast.
You have to sit there on a very small table.
Yeah. I wrote to them and said that they should do like Uber Eats cards for every attendee and just have breakfast delivered every morning to everybody's house.
That's a great idea.
They said no.
Breakfast session anyway.
And you just eat on an ironing board. You know, you watch it.
Hold on. We got some other guests coming in. Jeff, introduce us.
Shy.
Who we got?
Are they learning?
As in Levi.
Oh, he's got bass too.
That's awesome.
Hey guys.
I have to get going.
Hey. Are they gonna play?
Can you guys play? These guys Zoom a lot more than me, so.
Oh, for school and such. Wow.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah.
Kevin, do you regularly vacation in Nashville? And if you do you check out any music around the area?
I don't really vacation here. I come and visit my in-laws. My wife is from Nashville. She went to University Nashville school.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then, I met her in California. But so we come back here and visit her parents, and then I have quite a few friends that live here. So I kind of visit them.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I like it here. We'll probably eventually end up here.
I know Jack White lives in that area that you're in, and he's been dabbling in the bluegrass type of thing.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that'd be quite a collaboration.
Yeah, he's hired some local musicians here to be in his band and stuff. I was just curious if you ever ran into him or if you get out much for the music thing here.
You know what? I'm more of a tourist when I come here. I go to the Bluebird Cafe,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing some really good people there. But I do want to check out the Station Inn.
Oh yeah.
That's a must see.
Yeah, when things get back to normal. But I do love it here. It reminds me of Connecticut. That's where I grew up, in Connecticut. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of New Jersey, where I grew up and where I'm from, the Franklin area especially.
Yeah, I was just in Franklin today, just walking around. And
very empty there now.
Actually, it was kind of busy. It was a little too busy for us. Yeah, and also same with we were renting a VROV off of 12th Avenue South for a while, and I couldn't believe how many people were going to restaurants inside.
Oh, well, yeah. I just stay inside here. It's people don't really, they don't distance here or anything. I mean, I don't want to get sick. I'm pretty sure I had COVID a couple times on the road, but I don't want to get it again.
I think we all assumed we had it one time or another.
I think so.
I think I have it every morning.
We were down in the E hall, right? Is that the hall we're at NAMM, right?
At NAMM, yeah.
And we're in the same
January.
hallway as the China people that are selling all their PA stuff. And I remember I was walking out. We're like walking out of the place, and I look down, and there's this gal that just has her head down with her hood over her, and I'm like, wow, she really looks sick. And now to think back at that and think of the timing, I'm like,
it was in January. Yeah.
So scary, mid to late January, being within so close.
Yeah.
To what could have happened, if that would have really spread at that event.
Right. Yeah.
No reported instances, as far as I'm aware.
No.
Yeah,
I saw a woman at the grocery store the other day with a full gas mask on. No lie. No lie.
Wow.
Yeah.
About 2 weeks ago, this is why I have a problem with some humans. I was in 7-Eleven with my kids, and this girl comes in. She must have been about 18, and she didn't have a mask. In California, we're mandated. So she comes in. The lady behind the counter says, "You need to put a mask on." So she comes up and she puts her hand over her mouth to cover her mouth, and then goes and uses the Slurpee machine. I'm like, that's thank you for that. Can you please go disinfect that now? I'm like, you have one job to do. That's it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's no wonder.
Yeah, we went over to Europe in November, and we were scheduled to play a tour, and then I had to quarantine for 10 days. And then we rehearsed for 3 days with the other musicians, and then we played 2 shows, and then they shut the country down.
Oh
no.
but at least we got into the studio and recorded 24 songs.
Wow.
And in 2 days, and then sitting around waiting in isolation again and flying home, the weirdest experience.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of you guys tour in Europe for bluegrass. Do you think it's more popular in Europe than it is in the US?
No, definitely not. No, it's not. But we have, because I am from Europe, I worked there for 40. I worked there as a professional musician over almost 25 years before we moved, and so we have a good following, so we can fill a good tour, every year, once or twice. So that's okay. So we keep that. It's a good it's a good business, just to go over there.
I was watching the Dolly Parton documentary. Have you seen that?
Great documentary.
Yeah,
great.
It was great.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
The year she toured Europe doing bluegrass, playing bluegrass, and I don't think she was really happy with that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I need to. It's on my list to watch. I
Yeah,
quite
great.
a list.
No, but I remember, first time we went to Germany together together with Janet and Greg. We went to Frankfurt to the Musikmesse. What kind of adventure was that? And we met Steve Noon right there, for the first time, and that was just amazing. And I think Frankfurt's not happening. It's almost dying out anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
One
looks
of the
like
things
music.
that I observed about getting to be in Europe and go to a Kruger Brothers concert, being from America and not speaking German, we don't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah.
But sitting there in the audience, they make those German and Swiss audiences laugh constantly. The people never stop. They make them laugh and have fun more than any other audience or any other performer I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I often had the thought Steve Martin would be jealous if he was here right now.
I don't think so, but it's a nice comment.
It's another good documentary that I could recommend. It's not bluegrass, but it's the Bee Gees, which was really good.
Really?
Yeah, because they had to reinvent themselves so many times, and it was really a great motivational documentary to watch, inspiring.
Wow.
I've watched that one a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Jaco Pastorius, the famous bass? I know Dave has. That's an inspiring one too. He's
awesome. But talking about documentaries, I thought that one of the most amazing, it wasn't really a documentary, it was like a reenactment movie. It was The Founder, of McDonald's.
Oh, that was good.
I found that to be an amazing, inspiring story, of an entrepreneur. The real American story. I really liked it. I thought that was a lot I took away from that, actually, especially now also for COVID. Because I think this reinventing idea. If you don't have to live off music, well, it's another story. And but if you actually have to live of it, and your life depends on it, you have to reinvent yourself. You have to come up with new models, and you have to be probably prepared that it's not going to return to what it was, fully, maybe, for quite some time. And so to be able to look, to see the opportunities in a crisis like that is something that is very, very helpful and inspiring to see by, exactly like documentaries like that, I believe,
I used his name.
I love as a musician to not watch documentaries only about other musicians, to about a different profession. Sometimes that's all I'm thinking about all the time. And The Founder is one of those great examples. Really anything that it is not music related, sometimes I learn way more from how somebody else does it on a different, in a different profession.
I used him as an example in a banjo workshop I did yesterday. I always get the question, why did you decide to step outside of bluegrass and learn other genres, blues, jazz, rock, and play with drummers and electric guitar players? And I said, well, I kind of felt like I liked the banjo enough, and I'm sure Greg feels this way too. I was, like the McDonald's founder, I love hamburgers. I want to bring them to the world. And that's why I stepped out of bluegrass. I wanted to bring it outside of that small world to everyone else. So I started hanging around with rock bands and stuff like that, and trying to make friends and play for people that wouldn't normally hear the banjo.
Well, but Ryan, it's you really follow your heart. That's obvious. And that's important. For anyone. It really depends. It doesn't matter which direction it would go to.
Yeah.
It's like Eric. He follows his heart. Going back to the roots, maybe to the land for now, and then coming back. And doing other things. I think this is just important. To also forgive yourself. In these times, and and just move forward, you know. And that's what I said before. You look at Jamie, look at her, and you look at her now, you know, how she's actually smiling. You know, there's a happiness about her that's just it's just touching. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this group touches the banjo genres far and wide. I mean, we have one of everybody here, so you should be really proud of that, Jamie. That's the whole spectrum is here, and even in this one little meeting. So
yeah,
I was thinking about that before. That this one little sample Motley Crue is so cool to look at. I'm fans of all you guys, and for the decades that Deering's been around, I feel like you Greg and Janet have really inspired the entire just generations of modern banjo playing. For me as a kid, I remember in high school I had 2 CDs. I got 2 new records. One was a Pat Metheny record, and I'm looking at his guitar and I'm seeing the ES 175, and the other was Bela's Live Art, and I'm seeing the Deering Crossfire. And I just feel like to be part of this family with you guys that inspires truly just us to be ourselves is the coolest part. And for us, the first time I came out to San Diego to meet you guys and play some banjos, just you guys
with our kids
and swept us up, and it's just been such an encouraging world. And I love that about the world of banjo playing, that all of us are kind of kindred spirits, regardless of if we know each other well or not. We're just drawn to this magic of 5 strings or 4, Jeff, sound of or 6 during Boston model folks. But it's just we're part of this club that only us kind of know the magic of it, and I just we love all you guys.
Oh, I've literally teared up more than once during this. This is amazing. You guys are all such an important part of, like, completely separate from anything work, but just as human beings, you are all really special. I've felt so lucky to get to work with all of you and get to know all of you just as a friend, and that as a group we help bring music out into the world. I couldn't ask for anything more rewarding to do. So thank you.
Thank you
to every single one of you.
Thank you.
Seems like an appropriate time to toast to everybody, right?
Yes.
Jamie Deering, I'm going to ask you to toast. Can you toast?
I can toast. I have
You'll
my
toast?
holiday mug.
Everyone at home, you can raise your glasses if you have them. I'm sure it's evening somewhere. So
Here's
Deering.
to a new
To the
year
Deerings.
and banjo.
Just do a great.
that's great. I'm with Kevin there.
See each other in person very, very soon.
I want to be where Kevin
Yeah,
is.
right. Wow. That's fantastic.
That's a central time zone, right?
Tennessee.
That looks a little unopened, Kevin.
I still have to make it to
Love
the
it.
post office.
Oh wow! I hope to see you all very soon.
Just before we go, Mr. Bandraski, are you looking at the chat more than I am today? Do we have any questions that were asked during the course of this? Or everyone just kind of enjoying the ride?
Yeah, we just have a lot of people saying hello and really enjoying seeing everybody together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run, but I want to say congratulations, Greg, Janet, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being
Thanks,
here.
David.
We can see
Bye-bye.
everybody in person.
Hi, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Good seeing you all. It's nice meeting you all and seeing.
See,
Cheers, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
For all the
Thank you.
music you all make. We love it.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Happy
Deering.
thank y'all.
Cheers.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Very good.
Bye.
Have a
Y'all
wonderful
take
Merry
care.
Christmas. Oh, there we go. Who wants to try joining in?
Y'all come
It's
back
like
now.
It's like an extension of your arm. It's just there at all times.
Always.
Oh.
I love
Love
it.
you, Jens.
Bye
Yes.
bye. Bye bye.
Hey, I need to know,
Happy-
does anyone have any final thoughts for the day before we all sign off? Anyone else? Are we good?
Enjoy your
All right.
family and have a great
Yes.
holiday and start the new year fresh.
Absolutely.
That would be my thought.
You're
Cheers,
right.
everybody. Great to see you all.
Yeah, you
Good to
too.
see you.
Thank you all for coming.
Bye.
Yes.
Thank
Take
you,
care.
guys. We'll see everyone in
Yes.
January.
Spread the
Bye-bye.
love. Spread the
Spread
love.
the love.
Absolutely.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.